Yes,
Did we meet last year, Rishabh?
yes, sir. We have met last year too.
Because your name is something which gets recorded in the mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have met last year and before that also.
Okay. So last year, what happened? What was the final outcome?
Sir, I couldn't make good marks.
Okay, Rishabh.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So, yeah, you were telling me what really happened. Did you not figure anywhere, or did you figure lower down, something like that?
Uh, Sir, actually, some of the questions came on history, and I was kind of not able to take it in a very constructive way. So, and it was the start of the interview. So I faltered there, and it affected the overall interview, sir.
Okay. So, do you think it is started with the history of your town, hometown, Ujjain?
Sir, it was regarding the history of Indo-Greeks and Indus Valley.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So,
How come it straight away went to Indo-Greece and all that?
sir, actually, chairperson asked me regarding my DAF, but the first member started asking questions on history. So she said that can I ask on history? So I couldn't refuse, and she started on Indo-Greek. So I should have said that, ma'am, I'm not remember, but I kept on saying something and faltered, and that way that happened.
And then that affected whole of your interview.
Yeah, so kind of. It should not have, but it affected.
Yeah. Okay. So, have you done some kind of reflection, introspection on this? That supposing this kind of a situation were to arise again, God forbid.
Yeah. Sir, yeah.
And you face again, right in the beginning. Sometimes these very strange, weird, unconnected to the DF kind of questions
Yes, sir.
can come, because I don't see history occurring anywhere in your DF, you see.
Yes, sir. So
how are you going to deal with possibly this situation?
Sir, I'm trying to practice to say I don't know or I'm unable to recall, because if even I know 5 or 10% of it, then I try to say no to that, because indulging into that will unnecessarily create multiple questions more and I'll not be able to answer. So I'm trying to practice I don't know, and I take time to 2 seconds whether I know the questions or not. Then I take a decision whether I have to go ahead or not. So I'm working on this while practicing.
Okay, supposing you were to answer the same question right now, can you answer that? The question which was put to you last year by
yes,
the
sir.
member. Yeah.
Sir, so what I have done is regarding this type of questions, I have made.
Just give an answer to the questions.
Sir, still I will say, sir, I am unable to recall.
Oh, so you didn't really cross-check the answer to that question.
I did at that time, but if I'm recollecting it now, sir, so I'm unable to recall. So I'm trying to get to the fact that I should say no if I don't know.
Okay. But there can be very free kind of repeat that you go there and you have the same member, you see, and she also recalls and she says, "Okay, answer my question which you didn't answer last year."
So I'll look into this.
When is your interview scheduled, Rishabh?
Sir, 12th April.
Oh, 12th April. So you have just about 10 days time or so. Okay. Now tell me, one thing, did you hear of this vaccine diplomacy? One thing in the perspective of pandemic. And after that, the recent diplomacy which India has been engaging in the context of Russia and Ukraine war. And what do you think of this diplomacy?
Sir, in vaccine diplomacy, we try to provide the vaccine support to all the countries that we can, given our production limit. And India acted as a major hub to provide the pharmaceutical support to the companies who are in distress. Right now, sir, what is happening is, in case of Russia and Ukraine war, since our strategic relationship with Russia is at stake, and given our national interest, we are totally guided by not only on not really on the ground as such of not supporting the war, but we are also guided by the national interest in terms of given our defense readiness 70% depends on Russia, and our historical ties with them. So we have maintained a neutral status on this, and we are supporting the dialogues and diplomacy in this war. So there has been change in with respect to that. We are guided by national interest. We are always guided by national interest.
These are very good, what you said. But what do you think of his strategic relationship of India with US?
Uh, so, as per the statement given by the US officials, US understand the defense dependence on the Russia of India, and it has said in many cases that we understand that India has defense ties and strategic relationship, but we also want India to at this time to take a side which is more democratic and which is more as per its principles. But at the same time, and we have tried to maintain a neutral status, although we have not voted against Russia, but also when Russia moved uh, some some votings against Ukraine, we have also not supported that also. So we have a kind of maintained a neutral status, and also provided that uh, given our national interest, and in terms of national interest, we are trying to take a balanced status, because that will provide us a leverage to mediate or to help that the war takes a U-turn.
You see, there's one senior diplomat of United States visited India just 2 days back or
Yes,
3 days
sir.
back. Who is that guy? What is he, and what was his statement like?
Sir, the deputy NSA of USA came to India. His statement was like that USA will not like any country going against its sanction or bypass sanctions. And the rhetoric was more kind of a warning to India for that. So, sir, I believe that any such rhetorics or should not affect India at all, because India should maintain that independent foreign policy and strategic autonomy, given its relationship with both Russia and US. And at the same time, we are coordinating with the US officials also and Russian officials also at the same time, so as to maintain an independent foreign policy and not be affected by such statements. Sir.
Okay, okay. I had asked you the name also of this.
Sir, I am unable to recall the name, but I know the designation, sir.
See, but the statements by Mr. Dilip Singh, was
Yes,
it?
sir. Dilip.
Yeah. Do not really go in sync with what you said as the stand of the USA, that they understand that India has a certain geo-strategic kind of a situation and relationship with Russia. They don't really. Do you think they sing together?
Sir, the statement by Deputy NSA does not match with what I've said. But before that, the USA is not sanctioning India that much, because they knows that India has a very significant ties, and it will take time. In fact, in some of the statement recently, they have said that India is diversifying its defense ties. Like we had earlier 78% dependence, now it is 60%. Also, we are diversifying in terms of other dependency. So although, sir, the statement are not in sync with what is supposed to be the earlier statements, but it was also the understanding that US had of India.
Okay. Now, what is the hesitation you have in mind if diplomacy is so important? Isn't it? It is important from what you are saying, the kind of balancing, delicate balancing, along with very shrewd and intelligent kind of analysis and understanding of the whole situation. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? It has to be very shrewd, it has to be very penetrative. It's very, very delicate when the whole world is on one side in the UN voting, then India with just a couple of countries is taking its own stand, isn't it? Now, if the diplomacy is so very important, as per your own words and assessment, then what is the hesitation you have in mind in going for the Indian Foreign Service? I hope you get why I am saying this.
Uh, Sir, sorry, I'm unable to understand the question. Can you please repeat, sir?
Yes, I will repeat. You see, in your preference, foreign service comes as number 3.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Sir, because
Why not number 1? You see?
Sir, because I believe that Indian Administrative Service
No.
and
First answer about IFS, then take the shield of what IAS offers. You see. My first
sir,
thing is, why hesitation in the mind of a young, smart person who has a fairly good understanding of the geopolitics in not giving foreign service the top preferences?
sir, it is more of a personal reason because after discussion with my family members and I have decided that I'll keep foreign service on third and I'll prepare or focus upon the services which are more domestic. So, sir, it is more of a personal reason. After discussion with family, I have decided to do that, sir.
But supposing your family members were to say, take your own decision, we are happy with any decision which you take.
So then I'll select foreign services and as my second preference, sir.
Okay. Now, have you heard of safety audit?
Yes, sir.
Audit, you say.
Yes, sir.
What is safety audit in the context of, say, disaster, you say?
Sir, safety audit is a regular audit that is done specifically in a place which is prone to disaster or prone to accident. For example, in case of nuclear plants, we do safety audit. For example, in case of industrial fire or industrial accident, we do safety audit, whether the SOPs are followed, whether there are proper checks and balances in place.
Have you heard recently that safety audits are being carried out for certain buildings in some prominent cities?
Sir, I have not heard recently.
There was an incident in which in a multi-storied floors, of certain building, certain tower just came down cutting through many floors, you see. And then it's become a big issue, the safety of these buildings. Let me tell you, it has happened in Gurgaon where I live, and then the safety audit is going on. So I just want to know from you, because you are a man of audit, so how do you relate your audit to this audit?
Sir, what I am doing right now, I have done statutory audit for companies. So that is regarding the compliance of the financial statements as per the standards of auditing and standards of accounts and compliance with company audit. So it is different with the safety audit because it is more of a field level audit, and it is not regarding any financials but of the readiness of the infrastructure and its resilience with regard to any disaster. So in that terms, it is different.
Okay, thank you, Rishabh.
Thank you, sir.
Over to Sharma ji.
Yeah. Hello, Rishabh.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. So, Mr. Rishabh, you are from Ujjain. What is so special about Ujjain?
Sir, the most special thing about Ujjain is, sir, Ujjain is a city of temple, and Ujjain has one of the 12 Jyotirlingas in our country, and the only Jyotirlinga in the world which is south facing and which is Swayambhu, which is born from itself. So this is the most famous thing about Ujjain, sir.
Okay, one. What else?
Sir, Ujjain every 12 years celebrates Kumbh Mela on the bank of river Shipra. Also, sir, Ujjain...
When was it last celebrated?
Sorry, sir?
Kumbh Mela. When was it last celebrated?
Sir, 2016, sir.
16. So now next will be held in?
Sir, 2028.
Okay, good. What else?
Sir, another is a geographical location of Ujjain. Ujjain, it is said that it is it was prime meridian of India before the Greenwich, because because it is located on the intersection of Tropic of Cancer and zero meridian of longitude. So, yes, sir. And
so, which Vedshala observatory is there?
Sir, Jantar Mantar Vedshala is there in Ujjain, sir.
So, which Jantar Mantar was built first in Delhi or in Ujjain or in Jaipur or Varanasi?
Sir, I'm not aware
Ujjain
of.
was the first one.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, salient features of economic survey presented this year. Salient features of economic survey.
Sir, I have yet to read economic survey, sir. I'm unable to give answer to this, sir.
Okay, IMF projections about GDP. Any idea?
Sir,
Projections of IMF related with the GDP, India's GDP for 3 years. That is 21-22, 22-23, and 23-24. Any idea?
sorry, sir, not aware of that.
Okay, budget highlights. Can you tell me?
Yes, sir.
Highlights. This year's highlights.
Sir, in budget, we are projecting growth of 9.3%. Also, sir, our fiscal deficit is around 6.3% that is estimated. Further, sir, some steps have been taken in this budget, which are which famously are the sir PLI scheme is supposed to create 60 lakhs new jobs. Further focus upon R&D has been given on the advanced technology part like artificial intelligence, big data analytics. Third, sir, there has been new digital skill platform has been made, which is called Desh Stack. So that has been started. Further, sir, the tax policy, it was earlier being projected that the tax rate may go up because of the COVID recovery, but the tax slabs have been remained same. Also, the government has provided separate impetus on the Gati Shakti and the infrastructure capital expenditure part.
Okay, so what is the difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning?
Sir, artificial intelligence is the the machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence involve that the machine or the equipment is able to learn from itself without any human intervention, active human intervention. And machine learning is one of the component where the smart machines are there, which does not require periodical modification, but it itself learn from the data and make modification as per the needs.
Starts Up India. Any idea? What has been the progress during past 6 years or so? Starts Up India.
Startup India, sir.
Startup India, yeah.
Sir, we have seen recently in last 2 years, the startup unicorns has reached to 71, more than 71 in recent times. That has been result of various steps that has been taken by government, like the scheme Startup India, where government is providing special tax incentives, a platform where they are not there is exemption from the capital gains tax. There's also ease of doing business in terms of registration of startup. There has been exemption for related to any compliance with regard to registration of properties. Also, sir, startup government has provided seed capital fund across and in various schemes where they are funding the startups at the local level and at the tier 2 and tier 3 level. So because
what do you mean by unicorn, by the way? What do you mean by unicorn?
So unicorns are those startups who have crossed valuation of more than $1 billion.
Okay, so number which you have mentioned, the number at present is 83 and not 71. Till last year, it was 44. So remarkable progress during past 1 year related with unicorns.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, over to Tyagarajanji.
Thank you, sir. And welcome, Rishabh.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. You have again made it to the interview level.
Thank you.
Rishabh, You have been with the Indian Defence Estate Service?
Yes, sir. It is on first iteration. It was changed to the Indian Audit and Account Service. So currently, I'm also going. I'm training at Shimla in Audit and Account Service.
Okay. So how long you have been there, Rishabh? It's 2 years now, is it?
No, sir. Only recently, on last attempt, I have been selected in CSE 2020, and 21st March, my training started. This 21st March.
How was your experience with this concern, Deloitte? You call it Deloitte, is it?
Yes, sir. I was associated with Deloitte.
You were there for how long, Rishabh?
Sir, I have done 3 years of articleship in Deloitte, and for 8 months, I have done a job in Deloitte as an indirect tax assistant manager.
Good, Rishabh. It has been quite an experience with that.
Yes, sir.
I would like to know when you become the administrator. We hope you do. How do you think this will come in handy for you? This kind of an experience and expertise. Can you reflect on this and tell us?
Yes, sir. Sir, while working and doing my articleship, I have been exposed to the practical world in terms of statutory audit of the companies. So that has helped me to learn about the auditing principles, the canons of financial propriety. So this will be helpful in making governance more economic, efficient, and effective. Second, sir, I have worked in a team in Deloitte, and I have become a team player, and I have able to uphold the trust within the team and also deliver within the team timelines. So second is that part. Third, sir, also during this experience, sir, we are exposed to various technical knowledge about the financial management, cost accounting. So that will be helpful in doing cost benefit analysis of the government policies, identifying whether the proper outcome is coming or not. So this will be helpful in my civil service career also.
Slightly deviating from this point, Rishabh.
Yes, sir.
As a layman, I am intrigued by the goings on in Sri Lanka and Pakistan. Suddenly, these two neighboring countries are beset with a kind of crisis. We understand in Sri Lanka it's purely economic, and in Pakistan, perhaps that substratum of economic crisis is also there. As an economics expert and auditor, Thomas, how do you look at it? How do you interpret it for us, Rishabh?
So the crisis.
Yeah.
So the crisis in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, and Pakistan also.
Sir, with respect to Sri Lanka, the reason for the crisis are multivariate. It started from long back, like the effect of the 2008 crisis and 2013 crisis took a huge toll on the Sri Lanka. Then after that, sir, there has been some of the government reforms, like turning the whole agriculture into organic farming, and also reducing the tax rates, has affected not only the food production, but also affected the revenue collection of the government, which has increased its deficit. And sir, the COVID impact has hugely impacted the exports of the Sri Lanka and the tourism sector that it depends a lot upon. So its forex reserve has declined to a very abysmally low level, to less than $2 billion. So this has been the multiple reasons because of which there is huge inflation in Sri Lanka. So in terms of Pakistan, sir, the issue comes with because Pakistan has not been a very investment attractive region. So because of lack of investment and a huge outflow of foreign investment because of the different foreign policy of the Pakistan and the involvement of the military in the governance, so this has created huge economic disruption, and also Pakistan has not been able to collect export revenue in terms of that. So in Pakistan, it is more of also the political political issues merged with, which has been exacerbated by the COVID.
Good, Rishabh. To come back to our own country,
Yes, sir.
GST has been in vogue for quite a few years now. It's the second year or third year now. So,
Sir,
yeah.
Sorry, sir.
Initially, in the GST regime, there were a lot of problems, so to say, teething
Yes, sir.
problems. Do you think 3 years down or 2 years down, I'm not very sure about that, we have been able to iron out the creases and it's more or less on track, GST? You should be able to tell us.
Sir, over the time, the GST had faced various challenges in terms of the GST portal, the issue with the compliance cost, the inverted duty structure, and the GST collection also was less than 1 lakh crore in many months. So it has, and also different slabs and higher slab rates in terms of 18% and 28%. So this has been the various issues, but over time, sir, we have significantly taken steps in terms of rationalizing the tax rates, the reducing the issue of the input tax fraud that has been going on a lot through data analytics. Sir, we have also increased we have also eased the tax compliance in terms of invoicing and e-way bills. So we have come a long way, being GST being more a transformative reform. We have done many tweaks and we have balanced the system. But sir, there are still some challenges that the GST is facing in terms of the petroleum products is still outside the GST ambit. So there is problem of inverted duty structure and compensation cess that is also going on. And there's issue of revenue neutral rate being 15%, but our rate is only 11%. So there are some issues that are still going on, and the center state are cooperating to reduce these issues and challenges and to make GST more reformative, sir.
Thank you, Rishabh. During our conversation, you were bringing up a phrase, canons of financial propriety. That's a very good phrase. But supposing if we take it to the financial sector, the banking sector,
yes, sir,
which is very much in the news, what is ailing the banking sector, non-performing assets and all. Do you think these canons of financial propriety with regard to the banking sector, do you have any comments upon this, Rishabh? Would you like to make some comment?
Yes, sir, the banking sector in our country was facing a lot of NPA problems. It has increased to more than 9% in recent times. So this was happening because the canons of financial property was not properly followed in terms of like evergreening of loans during 2000, when the economy was growing a lot during the first decade of the 20th century. And second, sir, the asset quality review was not properly done before the RBI took in. So that's not happening. And also, sir, there was a lot of priority sector lending also that was going NPA. And there was some political interference too in terms of banking, which is making it goes against the canons of financial property. So there were multivariate reasons of that, and because of which the banking sector has been today having problem of the twin balance sheet, and also now recently because of the NPS crisis, we had 4 balance sheet problem too.
One last question, Rishabh.
Yes.
Sorry, I was slightly distracted when Sinasa was engaging you on the contemporaneous history, battle or war that is going on there. But I was very much intrigued when you said that we are adopting the stance that we are because we go by our national interest. Don't you think, as scholars of ethics, Rishabh, that is a rather glib when we say, after all, we are dictated or we are abiding by our national interests, which are permanent. But if you really scrutinize it, I mean, if you ask me, is it not rather glib? Is it not an easy way out? After all, 140 countries, I mean, this is an academic discussion, nothing. We are not taking sides. But do you mean to say that there is an antagonism between national interest and some international principle. There are some permanent principle, perhaps, even in international relations. What would you say, Rishabh? How would you react?
Sir, when I said national interest, I also want to add to that part that India is abiding by the international principles in terms of
In other words,
because
sorry to interrupt you there.
yes, sir.
Is there an implicit antagonism between principles and interests? Or is there no meeting ground at all between international principles or some permanent principles, call it rights, human rights, or whatever? Is there no meeting ground? When we are talking about we are going by national interest, are we not glibly assuming, postulating a dichotomy between certain permanent principles which are non-negotiable? Then what about these 140 countries? Are there no national permanent interests for them to go by? I'm just provoking a thought from that's all. Rishabh?
Sir, rightly said, sir. International, there are some non-negotiable international principles like human rights, and the gender rights, and the labor rights. And in terms of, sir, the foreign policy is guided by some mix of national interest, but at the same time also international principles. In many cases, we have supported the countries and went against any actions that are going that are taking human rights violation. So, in terms of talking about Russia and Ukraine, although we are guided by national interest, but we have followed international principle in the sense that our statement always remained that India wants cessation of violence first, and we are providing neutral status because, sir, we wanted to create a neutral position to provide that there is a way for dialogues and diplomacy between the countries, and so that no one country thinks that India is favoring one over another. So, in a way, sir, our national interest is also in line with the international principles, which calls for humanitarian assistance. And we also have provided humanitarian assistance to the Ukraine too. So, in that regard, sir, we are also calling for dialogues, diplomacy, cessation of violence. Our statement has always been that.
Thank you.
But, sir, we have...
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So,
Yeah, thank you. Rishabh, if you were to assess your own performance, say out of 100, so where do you place yourself?
Sir, I believe, sir, you are more experienced and more rightful in rightful place to assess me, sir. It will be conflict of interest if I assess myself.
I'm being smart with more experience, and therefore I want to have your own assessment first.
Sir, I believe, sir, 65% around, sir, out of 100.
Okay. My other colleagues will also, respond to that. But let me just tell you, I think you have done well. You are a very good candidate, and hopefully you should make it this year. Why I engaged you in foreign service, foreign relations, that kind of questions, rather than the many other things on which your interview can start, right from your name, Rishabh, to your religion, Jain, to importance of Ujjain. Then I found mention of Savitribai Phule.
Yes, sir.
Then Gift City in Gujarat.
Yes, sir.
In fact, I was wanting to ask you, but then audit, football, all that. These are the usual things which can, in your DF, which can provoke questioning.
Yes, sir.
But why I asked you about foreign service, because you see, that is something you may think it is unlikely, because you are given a lower preference to foreign service.
Yes, sir.
There may be कि साहब वो तो हमने लोअर दे रखा है तो उसके बारे में नहीं पूछेंगे और कुछ पूछ लेंगे. But in UPSC interview, as you have seen already, can offer totally, surprising scenarios.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's why I thought let me start from there and time permitting. kindly be prepared on that in the current situation. And by 12th, which is just about, very near next week practically. And these current situations, etc., very, very important. So while these things, some member may ask you about to join and all those things, but be prepared for certain questions from this perspective. Diplomacy. Maybe they will not question you why it is lower down in your preference, but then questions on this aspect are very likely. So be prepared on that.
Yes, sir.
And what was your optional? What was your optional?
So my optional was commerce and accountancy.
Okay. That is your own subject. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Sharma ji and Tyagarajan ji, your comments, please. Sharma ji, please.
Which paper do you read?
Sir, Times of India and Business Standard, sir.
Okay, Business Standard. That's good. So one economic daily, that is good enough. It will be better if you go through the economic survey and budget presented this year. Very crucial questions.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, you are a very good candidate. I hope you will get through proper IS.
Thank you, sir.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, Tyagarajan ji, any?
Yes. Rishabh, yes. I'm glad that you have given yourself 65. Incidentally, what was your interview marks last time, Rishabh?
Sir, it was 160, sir.
That works out to a percentage of how much is it? 160?
So it comes around 60%. 60.
Okay, good. No, I agree with our colleagues that you have done well, but I must emphasize again what Sharma ji. It's all going very well, but when Sharma ji asked you about the highlights of economic survey and budget, he was slightly on the defensive. I was a little surprised because with your background, economics, accountancy, commerce, that was a natural question and a very broad, sweeping question. So, in fact, as I was getting prepared to hear your expert comments, I was slightly intrigued and disappointed. I must say that. Otherwise, wonderful little there. And many other areas like mindful meditation, football, these are all areas, football, again, these are areas I'm sure you have prepared because you have put it there in your part of your personality. So that's why I didn't ask you there. So everything was there. But again, to repeat what Sharma ji asked, economic features and this thing. So you should not be on the defensive. You should be ready to engage them in a conversation. Okay. Otherwise, you have done very well. We hope you make it. All the best, Rishabh. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I just have one question, if I may ask.
Yes, please.
Sir, with regard to the questions on international relations, was I able to comprehend it and deliver it in a structured way?
I think you did fairly well. That's what I would say.
I think so, sir. Even when I asked you again, because I was slightly distracted, I was not present. So you brought out the nuances, Rishabh. Yes. Because sometimes when they want to give you more, it's quite likely they may take you further deep down into the issue. And then because acidly saying principles and interest, they may take you further. So you have answered it very well. So we are nuancing it sufficiently. It's not a black and white situation. There is sufficient gray area. And then in our note of explanation, we have nuanced it. And this is part of the non-alignment without prejudice to the humanitarian principles which abide always. I think that point you brought out very well. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you. All the best to you. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
You can disconnect now.